So the big question, what are exponents? Or are they called indices? Let's take a look. To explain what an exponent is, I'm going to have a look at these two expressions up here. The first one is an addition, 4 plus 4 plus 4. Without evaluating it just yet, what's another way I can write that? The other way I can write that is 4 times 3. Okay, there are 3 lots of 4. So in other words, we could say that 12 is a multiple of 4. If we're looking at a multiplication, this is where exponents come into it. What's another way I can write 4 times 4 times 4? The way is 4, and then we put a little 3 up the top like that. And this is pronounced 4 to the power of 3, or 4 to the third power. But in the case of a 3, another way we could say it is 4 cubed. And if we were to evaluate this, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 4 is 64. And what we have here is an example of an equation using an exponent, or an exponential equation, I guess you could say. So what is an exponent? An exponent is this little number we write up here, the 3. We say the 3 is an exponent. Sometimes it is also called an index. And while we're looking at this equation, the number here 4 is called the base. And as I said, the 3 is called the exponent, and 64 is said to be the power. Unfortunately, not all textbooks agree on this, and it can get a little confusing. Some books say it differently. Some books say 3 is the power, but I like to think of it as base, exponent, power. To me, that makes sense. 64 is a power of 4. Let's try a couple of examples just to make sure we know what's going on here. Example 1, write using an exponent. So, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. We've got a base of 5 here. It's going to be 5 to the power of the number of 5s there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer, 5 to the power of 4. Let's try another one. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So our base is going to be 3 to the power of, how many 3's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer here is going to be 3 to the power of 6, or 3 to the 6th power. Example 2, we're going to evaluate these. 7 to the power of 2, or 7 to the second power. When the exponent is at 2, there's another way to say this. It is 7 squared. So we're going to evaluate 7 squared. It simply is 7 times 7. We've got a base of 7, and we're multiplying 2 7's together, which is going to be 49. Last one, 2 to the power of 5. So our base is 2, and the 5 means we're going to multiply 5 2's together. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So how are we going to do this? Let's break it up, shall we? Why don't we do 2 times 2 times 2 first? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8. This multiplication symbol, let's copy that down. And what's 2 times 2? 4. Okay, well, let's just take an extra step, make it easy for ourselves. And 8 times 4 is 32. So 2 to the power of 5 is 32. While we're talking about 2 to the power of 5, the powers of 2 are very interesting and worth remembering. Like we just said, 2 to the power of 5 is 32. But all powers of 5 up to 2 to the power of 10 are worth remembering eventually. So why don't we just have a quick look? 2 to the power of 1 is just 2. 2 squared, or 2 to the power of 2, is 2 times 2, which is 4. And as you go down now, we are simply doubling the number on each step, or multiplying by 2. Let's continue the pattern. Double this, 8, double this, 16, double this, 32, as we would expect. Double this, 64, double this, 128, double that, 256, doubling again, that is 512, and the last one, 2 to the power of 10, I just remember is 1024. For some reason, I find that easy to remember. I know that one, I'm kind of familiar with 2 to the power of 6 is 64, 2 cubed is 8, that's another easy one. Do your best, but hopefully after a while, you should have these memorized pretty well. How'd you go with that? Hopefully you've got the gist of it, because it's now your turn. Please try examples 3 and 4. In example 3, write these two expressions using exponents. And in example 4, evaluate these. 3 to the power of 4, or 3 to the 4th power. And this one over here, 5 to the power of 2, or 5 to the second power, or in other words, 5 squared. By the way, if you ever need to type an exponent into a computer, maybe you're using a search engine or doing some programming, then you're going to have to use this symbol here called the caret symbol, or the hat symbol. Not the type of carrots that rabbits eat, different spelling. So in other words, if you had to type in 5 to the power of 2, you would type it in like this, 5, caret symbol, 2. 5 to the power of 2, like so. Please add your answers to the comment section, and as always, thanks for watching.